I think that the reason I started this podcast is because I want to show the people that mean something to me and sort of come to terms with why I am who I am and figure that whole thing out. And the next guest is exactly that type of person to me. I think been so essential to my journey and career in the entertainment space, but also just my journey as a person. They have always been there for me when I need them. And I'm so grateful, my sweet cheeks. Hello, by the way, to introduce to you my friend Tatum Ludolph. Tatum.
Wow, that was a lovely intro.
It was a nice
Please
introduction.
write it in my Christmas card.
Listen, when you asked me to do a speech at your wedding, I got you. Well, hi Tatum.
Hey girl, how you doing?
Hey girl.
Oh, we started off like this.
Hi girl. Tatum, thank you for being here firstly. I know you're not usually the one in front of the camera, so this means a lot to me.
Yeah, I thought I'd step in front because you're doing such an amazing work with this podcast and it's been going so well so far, so I feel privileged just to be invited today.
No, but you're not saying the true reason. Because Tatum was in fact the person to give me the name Between the Cheeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, do you remember?
I thought you were going to keep that in the stilter.
No. I am so grateful for Tatum for her creative genius throughout my life. I mean, the TV presenting, thanks for that, by the way. But it was just us hanging out one night and talking about this podcast process. And we were just talking shit, talking out our ass, talking out our cheeks.
We were just kind of talking about like creating a space where we have like all these topics that we just talk about in general and just sharing it with people and inviting people in to also know that there's important conversations that we want to have and also like to keep it light as well. So it's nice that there's actually a platform for that as well. And I mean the name.
Between the Cheeks. TM. I'm still figuring out that whole business side of it. Nobody steal my name. If you enjoy my work, don't steal the name. But I think I want to know more about your journey and your story and where you started, because I know within myself that I was a lot further in life at an early age because of the fact that I just started school earlier. But then when I met Tatum, it's like she'd lived decades before and she wasn't the same age as me at all because she has just done so much. So Tatum, where did it all start?
Well, if we're talking entertainment space or if we're talking just like where did life in general start, I would say that it started at shout out Chili Bar because I came out of high school and I actually wanted to be a lawyer. Crazy.
He's a lawyer. Interesting.
Yeah, I like to talk a lot of nonsense and defend people. So since like I would say I was 9 years old, that was kind of the dream. And then once I started applying and actually started looking into like what it entailed, the career itself kind of bounded me a bit to South Africa and wouldn't allow me to really like go overseas and explore it like in a bigger avenue. And then I was like, well, seeing as this dream didn't work out, let me just take a gap here and chill. And my parents were like, no, that's not the kind of way.
That's not what we do.
You've got a chance at education, you're going to take it. And so I went to City Varsity's open day, was really interested in film at the time because I was editing like my own YouTube videos. I'm exposing myself. But
you had YouTube videos?
Oh, please don't go and look at them. They were like, there was an era that I thought I was going to be a YouTube star as well. So that's like kind of where my editing and stuff came into.
Okay.
And then I got into a motorbike accident like 3 days before the closing date to apply for the varsity. And my dad went and did everything. And then he came back and he's like, yeah, you're going to film school. And I went to film school and got a job immediately because I was like, like getting money from your parents all the time. Like, it's lovely, but it comes at a cost.
No.
So then I started out at Chili Bar, started out at City Varsity. And while at Chili Bar, it was so crazy because I would run into people from the industry already doing their things. And towards the end of City Varsity, I needed an internship. And then randomly one day, I remembered Lucian was in Chili Bar, and he was like, hey, I've got an opportunity for you. And I was like, yes, please, I'm looking for an internship. And that's kind of how I got my foot into the door.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was all very
Chili Bar did that for you?
yeah.
That's crazy.
You know how they say like the industry is all about networking. Like I'll always be an advocate for that, because that's honestly how I got my foot into the door.
So you never regret leaving Chili Bar?
No, I mean, I'm still in the bar industry in a sense now, because I do festivals and managing those kind of bars. But the clubbing, not for me anymore. But I'm sure we'll get to the not drinking, because that plays a big part in it.
Okay, let's get into it right now, since you brought it up. So when I met Tatum, heavy drinker, we would go out for, I'd say, a drink, because I was a 2-3 drinkers, not so much drinking. My ex at the time, because we all three used to hang out a lot together, didn't drink either, so like was slim drinking. But when we got together, this one, 2K, 3K a night, easy. Like how much is the most you've ever spent on a night out?
I'll say the most I ever spent on like a couple of days out, because it was when my cousin was down from Dubai and we were like hadn't seen each other for a bit, and drinking was like a big thing in our family. So it was like, obviously he's down, we're gonna party. And I think I walked away after 3 days spending like 10K on just alcohol alone. And I think it's actually at the end of that year when I stopped drinking, because I was like, girl, you don't have the budget for this.
No, and I didn't have the budget for it either. But when we'd go out together, suddenly it's like, whoa, okay. And this one always, so we are so stingy, da. And I'm like, bruh, we don't need it. But then you did the full turnaround. Why?
Yeah, like I said, like it's mainly stemmed from the fact that my family, from young to old, it's just like drinking is like this culture that we do, and at times it's fun and it's like happy-go-lucky, but at the same time, like alcohol tends to bring out like the bad side of some people. And I was just tired of having like these really deep, in-depth conversations while under the influence. And I first originally tried like to stop drinking for a month. And I really enjoyed it, like the way I felt in the morning, the Saturdays that I got back, like my days just felt so much more full. And then going into the new year, which was 2023, I was just like, this is the goal for the year. This is going to be the life-changing experience that I need. It's going to help me set boundaries with my family. It's also going to give them something to look towards and to look up to, in a sense. And yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and I don't think about drinking anytime soon.
And really? You do not feel the pressure even when you work in the bar space?
No, I think like the bar space makes me not want to do it more.
Like a chef in the kitchen, you're not as hungry after
because
cooking.
I'm like, firstly, the smell of alcohol constantly around you. And secondly, just like seeing people spend so much money on alcohol, which I mean is a benefit to me working there. But to be on the other side, I'm just like, at the end of the night, tomorrow morning, they're going to wake up and be like, yo, 5K gone. How was my night? Like,
you know, I can hardly even remember it.
Yeah.
I feel like alcohol is the sort of thing that you can have 2 drinks and have that be enough, and then everything after is sort of building to a plateau.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, each to its own.
Yeah,
like I said, I'm still in the industry. I still
this is how we make my money. No, we're not writing it off.
I still see the joy in it. Like I won't lie, there's still moments where I'll be like, oh, like a beer would have been nice on a cold day, or maybe I'll be at an event and everyone's like having a glass of champers, and I'll be like, oh, well, that would have been nice, but it's just like I feel like I'm not ready to even just step back into the world of alcohol. And I drank for about 14 or 15 years, and maybe that's the amount of time I need to be sober.
You started young as well. I feel like you did a lot of things like very young.
Like life began very, very early for me. Being the eldest, I was always held at like a higher level with responsibility, and substance was kind of a way to deal with all of that. But being older and wiser now, I've realized that there's more to life than just partying and having a good time. And once I stopped drinking, like my life became more fruitful in the sense of like I bought a home, I'm getting married, like all these things like materialized.
Must be nice, living the dream. Okay, talk to me more about that. So I obviously know Yas and I love Yas. Tell me your story.
Yeah, so we actually
if you didn't know, Tatum's a lesbian.
I'm between the cheeks. I'm a lesbian.
That's why I wore my shirt today. This is my gayest episode yet.
And yes, I'm a homosexual and I have a fiance called Yasmin Martin. Shout out. She actually gave me a pep talk before I came in.
Really?
She's like, you are amazing. You've got this.
You are an exceptional human being.
It's always lucky to have you on the
I'm
podcast.
lucky. I'm so lucky, and so is she to have you every day.
Yeah, she's just amazing. And I definitely think my maturity and where I am today is definitely due to what she's brought into my life, because she also met me when I was at like this crazy point in my life. And
How old were you?
I was 19 and she was 21. Yeah, we were still quite young. We met at City Varsity, and yeah, we randomly one day I walked up to her and I was like, hey, do you want to hang out for a bit and just chill? Because she lived in the same apartment as a friend of mine in my class. And she was like, this is random, like, because I think we barely like hung out with each other before. But something that day, like as I walked past, was just like, ask this girl to like chill. We hung out that night, had zero money to our name, and our friend was going to a play at the Artscape. And he was like, oh, just come with, like, you can hang around the Artscape, you guys can walk around and just
Walk
chill.
around the Artscape?
Like, literally.
The heck?
Do you know what I mean? Like, because his friend, like, ditched him and he was like, you guys can, like, walk around and, like, in the intermission, I can come and, like, chat to you. And we were like, this doesn't sound
like a bad,
boring plan, but
like you could sit on the steps like in Gossip Girl.
You know what I mean?
But it's taped down, so security. Lesbians?
Something in us was just like, yeah, let's do this. Like, I think that's also us just like spur of the moment being like, let's go with this or let's try this. And
you were both comfortable with your sexuality at this point?
Well, Yasmin wasn't out yet, and she hadn't been in a relationship with anyone else yet, ever in her life. So I was her first relationship.
Saboel.
Yeah.
Saboel did not have all this trauma.
But to be honest, like, obviously I wouldn't call her a straight girl, but with straight girls in general, like, you always have this notion of like, am I the first one they're going to be with? Are they just testing the waters? It's just a phase. And with Yasmin, I can honestly say it never felt like that. It just felt like getting to know someone, falling in love with someone. And crazy story about the Artscape is that we ended up going, and then she was like, oh, let's just go like see what's happening inside. We go inside and she's like, let's just go in. And I'm like, yes, like we don't have a ticket. Like I'm very like Perry when it comes to things like that. Like, you know, I don't want to be kicked out of the Artscape. And we walk in and she's like, let's just sit down. And I'm like, okay, I got to play it cool now. I'm also like on a kind of semi-date with this girl for the first time. I can't be showing I'm a nervy.
I'm not weak.
Yeah, you know. And then we're about to sit down and the director of the play is walking up the stairs and he's like, do you guys have tickets? And we're like, oh, we can't, we don't know where it is. And he's like, no, it's fine, just sit right here, you can watch the play. And we watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert for the first time together, and it was honestly...
Did you know anything about Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
I had no idea, and today we're going to name our daughter Priscilla. Like, it's
Priscilla for real?
Prissy.
That's the plan. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. If anyone doesn't know anything about Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, give us a whole overview. Queer, classic,
drag queen, in the desert musical. I don't know, it was quite a lot.
I just think it's a nice random play to have gotten to.
It was like crazy that was the first play that we've seen together, and that's actually like...
I mean, it could have been like Tapang or something heartbreaking, you know.
And that was also me being exposed to theatre kind of for the first time as well. Like, I've been to maybe one or two, but theatre is like a big part of her life. And it's crazy because now we see like 2, 3, 4 plays a year, and it's incredible.
And you have a house together, and you're living the dream.
And my 2 kitties.
She's got cat. Do you have 2 now?
Yeah, I've got Echo
Did the other one
and
come?
Delta. We've still got time with this one now. This one's still a kitten.
This one, she tells me, oh, you must come meet my cat every step of the way of this cat's growth, and then never invites me over. I come for a boykie. This one, she's too in love. But I suppose that happens with your friends and relationships or whatever. At least I got you here. At least we're still friends, actually.
Yeah,
because when I met this one, when I met her in our first year of knowing each other, I think, what did I say? I was like, yeah, no, but like we're friends. And she was like, girl, we work together. I didn't come here to make friends. Well, look at her now. Look at you now.
Well, technically, we're still colleagues.
Hi, Bo. You left the work where we worked together, and we had a phase there.
And then I had to hire you again so that we could be colleagues again. Just bring you back
so we could be work friends. You just wanted me around. Shut up.
True.
My parents work together, but they're also my parents. So, I mean, that doesn't take away from their husband and wifeness.
Look, in my defense, back then, like...
You thought I was a bitch?
No. Back then, I was just scared to let anyone into my personal life because... we know the industry is so cutthroat and it's so hard to know like who to trust and who actually has your best interests at heart. So coming in there, like being like, my wall is up, we're going to do the best work that we can, felt like the right thing at the time. But obviously you wiggled your way in there. And now you're one of my closest friends. So I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Me too. But let's talk about that. What do you think it is that makes this entertainment industry the way that it is and so cutthroat? Do you think it's just the space we're in? It's just people wanting to be in the limelight? Do you think it's a women in the space thing? Do you think it's a POC thing? What do you think it is?
I mean, I think it's all of those things.
Multifaceted. I know. I was like, which is the more right? Or is it D? All of the above.
All of the above. I think it's just the way the industry is built. Like, it's built off of competition. It's kind of built off of like awards and being the best and having the most current content and constantly being like not spoken about, but constantly being recognized. And I think sometimes people don't want to share that recognition with other people, and that's where the competitiveness comes in, and they lean more towards wanting to be independent than being collaborative, and maybe in a more, I'd say, advertising space, it's much more competitive. But now being in like a community space, it feels more about the stories that you're actually telling and less about what are we getting awards for, who's our biggest client. Like it's changed for me a lot, but out there, overseas, everywhere, it's still it's competitive.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to get in. Like I said, I got in by just speaking to someone, but if I never met Lucian, for instance, would I be here today?
Yeah, and if I never met you, would I be here today?
Like it's just the industry that we're in. But I think along the way, and I think you can attest to this as well, is that you just kind of have to learn to let people in, to trust people.
Because at the end of the day, it's who you know.
Yeah, because it's who you know. How's it been for you? What has been some of the highlights and the challenges?
I definitely think in my first week of presenting, it was a thing of, oh, you're also, by the way, going to MC at the Weinberg Family Festival, and that was like a crazy whirlwind experience because and I've spoken to other people like to Alo and stuff like that, and I was like, when you started MCing and presenting, like how far apart were those things? And she was like, no, it's like kind of happens all at once.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting that like you can literally be trying so hard for so long And then it just takes like one moment or one person remembering you from that thing that you did way back then, or how you make someone feel. I think that's a big thing for me, like building myself within this space. I do care about the work I produce, but I really care about how people remember me more so than the work. Because I can mess up, I can stutter, I might not be the most fluent person. And I think that competition I did earlier this year in the radio space, like that sort of was clear to me. Like there are people with such nicer voices. See, I'm already messing up my words. Like they are so articulate, and I don't know how they get that. But I also know I'm quick on my feet, and I'm funny, and I care about people, and I think my aura radiates out. And that's actually how I've gotten into many spaces I've been in. Like you're my friend, and I'm like, oh no, is this like nepotism or friends? You know, what do you call that? friends in the industry. I don't know.
Networking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is it like people who know you and just because they like you, they're putting you forward, or is it people that see your work and all you do and then they're putting you forward? So I think that has been like something I've also had to learn, that you're not just being put in the space because you're a pretty face, but you work fucking hard and you're doing all the things and you make sure people see it. And I think that's what I've tried to do. Definitely. Everything I do that I've been like, oh yeah, this is cool, I make sure people see it, and that's cool. But I don't know what's my favorite moment. Yeah, I definitely think the beginning, like that emceeing opportunity, I was like, this is the start of something new.
They also asked you back the following year as well.
The rate was too low at that point. Please, I'm a paid TV presenter now with a year's experience. I've been at the DHL Stadium. Respect me. my fees increased. But I think that's also the hard part. Yeah. Like, when do you stop working for peanuts?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think only you as the talent or the person going through it will know for you when is the right time to be like, okay, I've done these things kind of for free, and now I've gotten to a point where if I don't tell people to stop paying me what I'm worth, then I'm just going to constantly and that's kind of what happened with one of your fellow presenters. Like they just kind of tried to get into the space and was in the space all the time, and then when they finally wanted to get paid what they're worth, like the industry, no one like respected them enough to do that, and now they don't really do emceeing gigs anymore. So it is very important to like kind of know when that moment is and to take that leap. I think a lot of my career like highlights have been in moments where I've just been like, fuck it, let's just do this. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Can only get better from here.
We hope.
Yeah. And that's why I respect like what you're saying and why you chose not to do that event specifically. And look at you now doing bigger things and better things.
Please hire me. I need money. I have sometimes regret. But when I think of you and your highlights, I think one thing stands out is when you left our mutual workspace and you moved to Cape Town TV, and within a year your show was nominated, and I think for a SAFTA. Nominated for a SAFTA, and now every time we introduce the show we say, welcome to your SAFTA nominated show. And I think there's so much weight that comes with that. Has that been your career highlight?
Yeah, I think like people want me to say it's my career highlight because when it happened, it was like, I wouldn't say it was out of the blue, but like no one expected it. It was the first time Cape Town TV even applied for the SAFTAs, let alone be nominated for the first time in 15 years. And it was a big achievement for so many people. And for me, it was a big achievement, but to actually create that opportunity for Cape Town TV and for the people there who had been working so many years there before me, that was kind of a highlight for me. To be able to, because when I left the mutual company, I went into Cape Town TV being like, this is a community space. Like, I want to tell the community stories, but also have the space be recognized for the work that it's doing. And the SAFTA kind of just put Cape Town TV on a map in a sense in that way, and that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, no, because I think it's always nice when you add something to the CV, because what I've noticed about this crazy space we work in, nobody actually watches your shit. You put in so much work. This podcast, how many people are going to get this far in the episode? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know people are going to see my reels. And I know they're going to watch that. And they're going to associate me with this. And I think that the same goes with the show. Suddenly you add that Safta nominated onto it. And it's like, ooh, you big shit.
Yeah.
It's me. Everyone's, the TV presenter, the influencer. You don't even like my shit. What the fuck? It'd be better.
Yeah, it's more like the title that comes with what you're doing or what you're working on, and that's why if you're doing it for other people necessarily, or for that validation or for that views or whatever, it's never going to feel enough for you. But when you're doing it for yourself and you're creating something that, like, when you look back, you're like, oh my word, that's so cool. Oh my word, my podcast, like, I had such a cool conversation with my bro. Like, Azra's just the best. Like, you know,
that has been the nicest thing. You know, like, I think this is cool if this works out and people start listening to me and it builds from there. But I've felt such disconnect with my people because when I see them, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, or it feels like a catch-up game. It's never getting to know them. And I like this format because you're going to get in your head a little bit and you're going to get all nervous beforehand because you're going to be talking about things in a way that you maybe haven't thought about it or spoken about it before, because you know that this space can't be surface level. Like, we need to go deeper. And I like that I can do this with the people that I care about, which is why I haven't brought in anyone else that I don't know
that you have to interview.
Also, it's my house. I don't want to invite random strangers. Don't touch that. But yeah, I want to know people deeper. So how are you?
Is this a mental health check?
Yes, it is. It is. How are you?
I can honestly say that I am in a good space right now. Maybe a month or two ago, I wouldn't say that I was. I think the pressure of the industry, I'm currently also working 3 jobs. I work 7 days a week.
Truck driver, whatever they yell.
Everything from bar to courier to TV, like, I've just got my hands in everything, and it actually stemmed from me wanting to do these multiple things. Was from Stevie Harvey's interview that he had with Loa on our show. Just a young throw in there. He mentioned, like, having different avenues for money and not, like, necessarily focusing on, like, I'm in the TV industry, so this is the only way I'm going to make money. And I kind of adopted that mentality, and that's why I'm working as much as I am. But with working as much as I am, it doesn't actually allow time to spend with my family or with my partner. My house, like, I bought it, but I'm hardly there. Like,
just gathering dust.
Just gathering dust. Like, my cats, they basically own it. So it's been a bit rough, but I think why I can say I'm in a better space right now is because I've really, like, tried to let go of, like, things that weren't helping me.
They weren't serving.
Yeah, weren't serving me and weren't really uplifting me and making me feel good, and also just changing my perspective of, like, this doesn't have to be a bad thing. Let me make this a good thing, or let me take a good aspect of it and focus on that instead of focusing on the negative. Because I think also when you're in a space where sometimes a lot of people, like, it's interview fatigue, like everyone's just been going through it all year and everyone's kind of a bit depro, you kind of need to be that light. Because it's easy to fall within that and just become like that as well.
It's so, I pick up energy like that. Please don't. I've literally told friends within the last 2 years, I've been like, just don't talk to me if you're in that space. Like, and it's so shit to say, but it's so easy for me to take that on and
because I'm also, like, a person that's very, and you know this, like, I'll come to you and I'll be like, how are you doing? And maybe we'll start talking. I'll be like, but how does that make you feel?
Oh God.
So tell me how you've been doing. How's this interview feeling?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why do people want to know about me on my podcast? It's about you. No, I think I've very much been burnt out, and I think I've regained energy through this podcast. But also I feel fucking tired. But it's a different type of tired, because it's a type of tired where I feel value in what is taking up my time. I think I've gotten so stagnant in, like, my daily work, you know, even in TV presenting. Like, if I'm honest with you and, like, with viewers at home or anyone who wants to be in the TV space, anything can bore you.
Yeah.
You like anything can become normal. It's about how you are constantly trying to grow and adapt yourself within the space that gives you the value to want to push and do more. Because I can look at my script and say, okay, we're gonna go into the TV thing, we're just gonna do the thing, we're gonna read it, we're gonna go ha 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 cool.
Yeah.
But like with this, it's me researching podcasters, looking at how they structure things, looking at who inspires me, looking how podcasting has changed over the years. There's so many like nuances to this that I'm trying to understand. And that makes me feel like I'm learning and growing. And that is what I find joy in, is that learning.
Yeah.
Feeling like every day there is something new I get to do. I'm not just twisting toothbrush caps on toothpaste caps and calling it my job.
My day in,
Yeah, you know. Yeah. So I think that has been good, but I won't lie. I don't sleep 8 hours a day. I go to gym in order to survive. I don't think I'd like be a person. I'm single.
For now.
We're trying to cook. We're trying to date. We're trying to see what's out there. But right now, I'm not getting married. That's for certain. But otherwise, I am happy. I cleaned my house last night. That made me feel good. Not upstairs. Don't look around upstairs. We didn't get there yet. But I think things could be a lot worse in terms of life and what I'm going through. So my little struggles, while they are mine, and I give them their full weight, at the same time they're exactly that little. I'll forget about it in a month's time, you know, maybe. Unless it's trauma. Okay, but right now I've got no trauma. I've got no trauma. Yeah. So that's been me. But yeah, I've definitely been trying to learn and grow. Have you? Have you been growing, learning?
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm also someone that like, if I'm not learning, then it feels like I'm a bit stagnant and then like stuck. So as this year has gone on, I've been learning new things, new ways to produce, new career paths, like, and I've gotten, even with the bar industry thing, like, shout out to Liquid Rainbow.
Sponsor. Sponsor me.
Sponsor me. Give us some bevs. Yeah, so even with that, like, I started out just being a bartender because I needed like a space where I wasn't necessarily like the one in charge, and I needed to just be like a worker, you know, like serving people, like not having to like stress about everything.
So interesting. And I find those dynamics so interesting. Like, but because you do have the I'm in charge role, but then you also want that balance.
Yeah,
I get that.
Because I just like, it's lovely to be in charge, but obviously it comes with stress, it comes with pressure, it comes with a whole bunch of things, responsibility.
Depends on the quality of your staff as well, the people you're leading.
As well, the people that you're holding up, the team that you're building. It's a lot, and it can be mentally draining. So going into a space where you're just like one of them, like, you know, like cool, but and Yasmin will always tell me this, is like just my personality. It always like takes over in the sense of like I wanted to be a bartender and I wanted to do that, but then someone recognized how good I was doing, and now I'm like managing all the main bars at these festivals, like Catronada coming up, and all these big events, being the main manager at the event. And I'm just like, now I've put myself in a position where I'm in charge again, and it's like a responsibility. But yeah, like I said, I'm constantly learning, and I was great at the bartender thing. Now I'm learning how to manage these festivals in a bigger space. But now I've got the courier thing again, where I'm just like a driver, and I'm kind of getting that back
she
again.
Can do it all.
Yeah, so for me it's been really good, and I've learned a lot this year. But I do believe that with all the good things that came this year, there were a lot of like death. There was a lot of, it was like breakup season, like.
But not for you.
No, not for me.
Not for you.
No, definitely not.
I mean, the marriage hasn't taken place yet.
That season doesn't exist for me. Please. But with a lot of like our family, friends, friends in general, like so many people have, like my dog died this year, a friend's dog died this year, Yasmin's best friend. And it's just been like a lot of a lot of negative things as well. So I'm really like looking at 2025 with like stars in my eyes, being like, this is the year. And I think a lot of people are looking at 2025 like that as well. So yeah, it can only be up from here.
My hairdresser was asking me when you're getting married.
Don't lie.
My hairdresser.
Does she actually remember me?
Yeah, she remembers. She always asks. She still wants to
flat iron my hair.
She still wants to press that shit down.
Well, 2025 is the year of the wedding. I can tell you that. I've got a date, but I'm not going to give it off on the pod.
I'm gonna tell you.
You can invite me back, and then I'll give you all the deets
at a time.
Yeah.
When they first got engaged, and this was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Tatum told me, "So I'm getting married next year." A year ago.
Yeah.
You have 6 months to
find someone,
to lock in someone that you are in love with. Yo!
And so the search began.
And never ended. And we got close sometimes, but then they turned out to be crazy.
Yeah.
So how do I find someone?
So now you've got 6 months again.
Yeah. And I need some advice because you are the professional. You have had love. You were in a relationship when you and Yas first met, right?
Yeah.
That's what she didn't tell you. When you know, you know.
It was, it was love at first sight, I'd say. Because the next day the breakup happened, and 4 months later we started dating. So
well, that's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you broke up.
We couldn't do the serial monogamy thing where you just like hop out of one relationship back into another one. It was just, can't be that kind of gaze, you know.
We'll be a different time. So I'm sorry I haven't found anyone yet.
But you know, my first advice would be based off your previous episode is throw that list out the window, girl. Throw that list out the window.
What do you mean?
Why is there a list with the black book names on it? Like,
what's wrong with the list? It's so I can say, okay. That's how I know. One day my kids will be like, "Mommy, what type of baddies did you pull?"
No.
Well, my child.
Your child should know.
What does that have to do with my future relationship?
Because I feel like this is just us speaking honestly. Like you just put too much pressure on it. Like your standards are so high, which I respect because you are high standard yourself. But yeah, I just think like maybe I think now you have that approach a bit of just like going with the flow and like meet who you meet. But I think like a year ago or around about when I was first originally planning the wedding, you were like, this is the type of girl I want. This is what she shouldn't be doing. This is how she should be. She should be clean. Like, you know.
Clean? I'm so sorry I wanted her to shower.
You gotta get it dirty, girl.
No, bitch. Shower twice a day. That'd be nice.
Maybe 3 times.
Once, okay, maybe. But if you're going to the gym, twice could be great.
So I think your standards were super high for anyone.
I can't believe you said, Zoe, your standards are high. You like girls who shower.
Yes, they do.
You like girls who shower, who are willing to be seen with you in public. You know, that's a hard ask. It's tough. You would ideally like someone who can enjoy food with you.
Yeah.
She's probably going to be a vegetarian.
You need to come to Muizenberg there, you know, get a hippie. I was going to tell a joke now, but I don't think... Oh, yeah. How do you hide money away? How do you hide your money away so that it can't be found? Oh, I'm going to butcher it.
Take 2.
But it was basic. I'm not going to tell the joke properly. But the whole joke was around the fact like, how do you hide money away from a hippie? You hide it under this soap because they never wash.
It's okay.
So yeah.
I already came from Kommetjie.
Get a flower girl, you know.
Oh my God.
Flower
I was
child.
from Kommetjie. I didn't find friends there. I wasn't going to find love there either.
Just come to Surface Corner.
You You know that's not my brand. I mean, my standards on high. You just know that would never be who I end up with.
I know.
Like I dig meditation. I dig the flow state. You know, I can do the marijuana and
the yoga girl.
But hey, what you're giving me right now is white lady in dreadlocks, and that's just not me.
Showers once a week.
Oh my god. Imagine how you would make fun of me if I dated a hippie. No.
If you were dating someone that didn't wash, you would know from me immediately.
It would never happen. I would never be in the same circle. Yeah. I'd stop over there for weed, but
you're like, I'm still gonna collect what you got
for me. I've done that before, stuck around for someone just because of what they could give me.
I mean, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
Have you?
No, I've always been the giver,
the provider.
Yeah,
because you look like a dude. You're what is your brand of lesbian? What would you call this? Stud? Are you a stud?
I don't even think I conform to like any of. Because I've always thought, we were actually having this conversation after we watched. After we watched I Kissed the Girl.
Hold on. Do you know what's kind about this one? Or when you have friends who are in a relationship. I said, Tatum, I've got this choir show. I'm over by her house. I put it on for first 5 minutes because it's also queer and we love queer shit.
And it's hard to find.
And it's so hard to find.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I've got a show for you. Put it on first 5 minutes. Sorry, I can't watch this. I can know this is what Yaz all want to watch with me and I just can't, I've got to stop in my track. I say, bitch.
But the best line is you're like, no, we can watch this, and she doesn't need to know.
She doesn't need to know.
You could just pretend that you haven't seen the first episode.
And then what do they do? Binge it the next day.
Oh, it's so good.
Me.
So
I still haven't finished it because I don't have someone to watch it with.
There's always Azra.
We binged the Ultimatum South Africa.
All the straight shows.
Exactly. We dabble. No, it's hard to find friends that want to watch the queer shit with you because then you have to be like, yeah, no, don't worry. There's not going to be that many boobs. It's okay. Like, this isn't me trying to indoctrinate you. Yeah, please. I just wanted to watch something I like.
Welcome to the School of Lesbians. Let's watch I Kissed the Girl.
So that's how we bond. We love queer films. We love queer artists. I mean, we love non-queer stuff, but I think that gravitate towards it. I dated someone this year that was like, "Why do you like so much like gay things?" I was like, "Because I love myself.
Because I want to see myself represented on TV." Like, this is too hard to ask.
And either it's American gays or it's South African stuff. Do you think we're ever going to get to a point where we get both?
I mean, if I say no, then it will just be too sad to like stomach.
Okay, in our lifetime.
I think in our lifetime, yes, definitely. I think queer content and like queer films, it's on the come up. Like if I look back at like when I was 15 or 16, how many TV shows there was like the L Word and Queer as Folk. Like, but there wasn't.
You had to struggle to find that stuff, eh? You on the legal side. Like every gay person is good at downloading illegally. Like, impossible. You're not.
That's like the only way that you could consume that content. Like, I think I watched the L Word for the first time when I was like 14. And 14, 15, 16, like that was like kind of the only shows or films that I could find. And now, like, imagine you're like 16 and like coming out, like there's way more for you to find. So I do believe that like as time goes on, more films. There's actually a Christmas film coming out. I'm going to show you later the trailer. So good. And there are things coming out, but I think us as creators, like we also need to just like step a foot into that space and like think of like we're making all this content, but we need to create content that's also for our community as well.
100%. And this is why this is
and this is why
we had to finally bring in an out and proud gay for the show. Mustard Muffin.
Oh my word. That is not going to be my nickname.
Yeah, bring back the stud muffin.
So what do you identify as?
I'm Zoe. I'm an energy. I'm a persona. No, I feel I feel like if I said I feel very non-binary in my energy, people be like, bitch, you're so girly, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I love diversifying what I do. Like it's continually like a growth. I think my body and my curves, they disallow it. Like I think when you're plus size, it is just a little bit harder to like say, yeah, I feel like my form can be non-binary because I mean, you got the badonkadonk, you like that's a feminine shit.
Yeah.
But like in terms of sense, I love sense can be non-binary, but I think for most people they feel gendered. Like I can say it, but know that like there's gonna be a tanny that says, no, you smell like a dude, you know?
Yeah.
But sense, I love diversifying in terms of that. In terms of shoes, I remember my mom being like, that's a man's shoe, don't wear a man's shoe.
Really?
Yeah. And then she'll see the shoe a year later and she said, that's such a nice shoe, where did you get it? So it's so interesting, the gendered things that we put on ourselves. And I think for the most part I try and move away from that. I try and do the unexpected, keep people guessing. I think that's what I like to do. And just what makes me happy in the moment. Like today I made it a little feminine, a little bit also the makeup is
giving good. A basketball wife.
And then I got my undercut, and then that made me feel a little bit more gay or just like fluid, but also just made me feel good about myself. I just do things because I like it. And that's why I do girls.
But you want, what kind of girl do you want?
Well, a nice girl to bring home to the family.
So you wouldn't mind mask or femme?
Okay,
let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Okay. My track record. It's very femme, I suppose. But I love like Renee Rapp's ex, Alyssa. Like that feels non-binary energy. Like and I've dated non-binary people who identify as trans. So in terms of like what I've gone for, it'd be rude for me to say no, I've only gone for femmes when they are non-binary femme people I've dated, but you can't say femme because they're non-binary. So what is it?
Whatever comes onto your plate, let's say that.
No. I date hot people, man. That's
as long as you're a 10 out of 10.
Hi, shame. Don't say that, because some people are like, Zoe, no. My brother, when he was like, no, your exes weren't that way. I was like, hey, cool.
In my heart they were.
Yeah, in my heart they were. I mean, you know my ex. I think even with her, I was like, well, that's definitely not my type. She's like way shorter than I expected. Not the religion I would have wanted to go for, you know. Like, I'm constantly changing my ideas and my views of who I want. But even through that process, I was like, okay, no, I definitely need someone who's okay with my faith. Who's not going to expect me to convert to a religion that
stop what I do to accommodate their religion. It makes sense. But I have to say that the craziest person you've dated was the one that you dated this year, the young one. Like that was something else. I mean, we don't have to get into it because I feel like you need a whole episode for that.
I told Azra, I think it was, I was like, I'll talk about it after like 1,000 subscribers when I've maybe made a little bit of money from this to afford.
So save the story. But I have to say that out of everyone, that has been the craziest one so far. So it can only go up from here, you know?
We can only hope, my friend.
Apparently, what were you guys talking about? When's the best time to start dating someone?
Oh, what's the best month?
Yes, the best month, And I agree with it. I think you need to find someone in May.
Actually, I've got some dates lined up for December.
Ooh,
so we'll see. December. Not after Christmas, just now. The cutoff is the 24th when I go on holiday. So that's my dating life.
Or some old ones?
No, there's no recurring characters.
Okay,
These are brand new. The Christmas special. But I don't know. I've never had a summer loving. I've never even had like a date in December. So this is gonna.
But I mean, December is also, it's known for like a hookup month.
Someone, when I posted the TikTok about December and people not dating that month, they were like, yeah, I definitely thought that my person was only going to be a summer loving and then we're still together.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Seriously?
like, okay.
You never know. You never know. The world is your oyster.
We actually have a voice note to listen to.
Oh, really?
We have a voice.
Let's hear it.
Wait, I need to alter this voice. Woo.
Hey, did you have software to make it sound different?
Yes. To end off, I first want to say, Tatum, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you come back. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I really I was a bit nervous in the beginning, but once we started chatting, it's just
you're like, I actually know her.
Yeah.
I actually like her.
So thank you so much for inviting me, and it's been an honor.
Thanks for joining me between the cheeks. Okay, last little moment.
Okay, cool.
What is your deepest, darkest desires or fantasies out of this world? I mean, I'm sure we all have. You know what I mean?
So why did you start us off?
You go first. Guess first. Deepest, darkest desires. It's the dark part that's throwing me. 'Cause I feel like
a deep desire. I can maybe want, but a dark desire. What
maybe
are
it's
those?
maybe it's like us being gay. Is that dark? I feel like to some people that's probably dark.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we just live so much in light these days that it doesn't feel
That
dirty or
Yeah.
dark or like we're pretty open to a life full of goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to murder anyone?
Not today.
No, not
I'll
today.
see tomorrow.
She stopped drinking. That was her inner demons.
Deepest, darkest desire.
Damn.
Darkest desire.
Darkest. Lupita Nyong'o.
No!
She's my darkest desire. Damn.
I'll maybe say my deepest desire. Let's leave the dark out for now. Would be to go work overseas. And just produce a show like SNL or like something big like that, you know.
Yeah.
That's a deep desire, and probably being in that industry will become dark as well because I'll be exposed to all the bigger things in the industry.
Did you see that video of Tyler and they were asking her like, what's your like vice? What's one thing that you can't like go without? She's like, Coke. Wait, Coca-Cola. So like, yeah, girl. Yeah. People were like, no, we know the parties that you're running with now.
Oh, yeah. What's happening there, girl?
Hey, but I believe you, girl. I love me a Coca-Cola too. But anyway, thank you so much.
You didn't answer. Come on.
Okay, my deepest desire is for this podcast to work, that I become independently my own person and I can have my own voice and people actually want to listen to my voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's going to be haters and but that I get a community of people that genuinely invest in this.
Amen, sister. And thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
All the best and love you lots.
Like jelly tots.
Bye.
Bye.